Hi guys, welcome back. In the last session, we completed our discussion related to OAuth. In today's session, we are going to talk about what is JWT and how to work with JWT in our application. JWT stands for JSON Web Token, that is the full form. So JSON Web Tokens are open industry standard method for representing claims securely between two parties. So when two applications are communicating, so if you want to implement secured communication between two applications, then we are going to use JWT for that. So JWT stands for JSON Web Tokens. JWT stands for JSON Web Tokens. Now, let us go for official website to understand more about this JWT. JWT.io. This is the official website. So now you can see here JWT is available. This is the official website. Now, JSON Web Tokens are open industry standard method for representing claims securely between two applications. JWT.io allows you to decode, verify, and generate JWT. So how this JWT is going to work? Let's understand first. So here, one application is available. So that is my REST API. Okay. So here one REST API is available. For this REST API, there is a client application available. So client application want to communicate with the REST API. Client application wants to communicate with the REST API. If a client application want to communicate with the REST API, there should be some identity, secured communication. Everybody should not be able to access my REST API. Only my clients should be able to access my REST API. So for that, first what client will do is, client will send first request with credentials. First client will send a request with credentials. If client credentials are valid, then my REST API will generate a token. My REST API will give token as a response to the client. First client application will send a request for the REST API with the credentials. That means some credentials will be available for identification. Who is this client? This client belongs to our business or not? Do we have B2B communication with this client or not? So client will send the request with the credentials. If a client given credentials are valid in the request, then my REST API will give a token. So here my REST API is going to generate a token and it is going to provide that token to the client with some expiry date. Okay, so here token generation will happen. I will set 30 seconds for the token, or I will set 1 minute for the token. That is the expiry time for the token. Let me keep 60 seconds. A token will be generated. That a token will have 60 seconds validity. Once client application receive that token, then client application will send one more request to the application along with the token. Client will send the request to the application along with the token. Once the client has sent the token, if the token is valid, then actual request will be processed and we are going to send response to the client. So if you want to perform request processing based on the token, then we need to go for JWT. JWT stands for JSON Web Tokens. JSON Web Tokens are open if you want to represent claims securely between two parties. So client application is available and provider application is available. One REST API is available. If you want to process the request, now here two endpoints will be available. This is token method. So this method will responsible only to generate the token, and this is actual method, business method. So this is my actual business method. Token method will be available and business method will be available. Client want to access my business method, but for the clients directly, we don't give the access for the business method. If any client who want to access our business method, they need to send the token. If anybody want to access our business method, they need to send the token. So first, client will send a request for the token with the credentials. If a client credentials are valid, then token will be generated. When we generate the token, we will set the time limit for the token and we will give the token to the client. Once the token is received, client will send the actual request with the token for the business process. Then we are going to verify client given token is valid or not. If a client given token is valid, then only his request will be processed. Otherwise, his request will not be processed. So this kind of token based authentication is called as JWT. JWT stands for JSON Web Tokens. JWT stands for JSON Web Token. So what is the purpose of JSON Web Token? It is used to communication. It is used to establish communication between two applications. JSON stands for JSON. JWT stands for JSON Web Tokens. So JSON Web Tokens are used to secure our REST APIs. Security purpose. Security purpose. So in my REST API, two methods will be available. One method is used to get the token. Another method is used to process the request along with the token. Now I have an application ready. So let me show you this application first. How this application is going to work with the JWT. How this application is going to work with the JWT. Let me show you this. Now here I'm having my REST controller, guys. Here I'm having my REST controller. In this REST controller, first you need to send your request for the authentication. You need to send the request for the authentication. Okay, fine, guys. Now here, whenever you send a request for the authentication, create a authentication token. Create the authentication token, and I'm going to send the token for you. When you are sending the request for the allow method, if the token is available, then only this request will be processed. Otherwise, this request will not be processed. Let me go for my security configuration. In the security configuration, we are configuring some code for this JWT authentication. My user details service. I'm giving the username as admin, password as admin123. Okay, let me send one request, run as boot application. I have my application which is having JWT security. I'm having one application which is having JWT security. As I told you, two methods will be available. One is a token method, another one is business method. So first one is /authenticate. So this is my token method. So when you send a request for this token, it will generate the token based on your identity. Once a token is available, then you can access my actual method. Okay, so token credentials are available. Let me go for my Postman tool. Let me go for Postman. Let me send a request for the token first. That is authenticate method. This is used to generate the token for the user. For the generating the token, credentials are required. What are the credentials? I configured admin123 as credentials. So go here, localhost colon 8080. Clear the console. Clear the console. Go here, localhost colon 8080. Authentication basic auth username. So what is the username I configured in my application? I configured the username as admin and password as admin@123. Admin@123. I'm sending a GET request. Click on send. Now access denied, forbidden is available. Now let me go for authenticate. That is the URL pattern. Click on send the request. Method not allowed. Authenticate. What is the URL pattern? Request mapping. Post method is available. Authentication request. It is expecting authentication request. In the authentication request, username and password it is expecting for the token. Okay. So go to Postman, send a post request, body, raw data, JSON. So I need to send my username and password. These are my credentials. Admin admin@123. Admin@123. Click on send. Now, when I send a request to this authenticate method with my credentials, if credentials are valid, then it has given me one token. So that means I got my JWT token, guys. So observe carefully. In my REST API, there are two methods available, guys. In my REST API, there are two methods available. So what are those two methods? One method is called /authenticate method. So it is a post request method, that is /authenticate. And another method is available, which is get request method /hello method. So this method is secured. /hello method secured with the JWT. This method is secured with the JWT. Okay, this is red zone method. Post authenticate, this is anybody can access. This authentication method is token generation method. This is token generation method. So to generate the token, we are having one post request method. So this method is expecting credentials. So what are the credentials it is expecting? If username is equal to admin and if a password is equal to admin@123, then only token will be generated. So like this, I'm having my REST API. In my REST API, there are two methods available. One is token generation method. Another one is actual business method. In order to access this actual business method, we need to have the token. Okay, so here our client application will be available. Client application will be available. So what this client application is doing now? This client application will send a request for this authentication method with credentials. Then what this method is doing? This method is returning a token for the client. So this is token request. Request will be available. And here you are getting response. In the response, you are getting token. So once you receive the token, then you need to send actual request with the token. Then you will get the response if a token is valid. If a token is valid, then only you are going to get the response. Here, request with the token. Request with a token you are going to send. If your token is valid, then you are going to get the actual response. Now, let's understand the numbers here. First, client is going to, this is my client application. This is my client application. First, client will send a request, guys. Let me take this number. Client will send a request with the credentials. Once the client send the request with the credentials, it will authenticate. The credentials are valid or not. If the credentials are valid, then it will generate the token and it will send token as a response to the client. 1, 2, 3, 4. Step 1, client is sending a request, that is a post request for authentication purpose. We are going to verify this client is our client or not. This client is our client or not. If he is our client, then okay, then let's generate the token. Let's set the token back to the client. That is what is happening here. I am having my REST API. For my REST API, I'm sending a post request with the authenticate, username and password. Username is admin, password is admin@123. Click on send. When I send the request, I'm getting my JWT token. I'm getting my JWT token. Are you able to understand step 1, 2, 3, 4? Are you able to understand step 1, 2, 3, 4? Are you able to understand step 1, 2, 3, 4? Client is sending a request with the credentials. Client is sending a request with the credentials. If credentials are valid, token is generated. The token is sent as a response to the client. Then what client has to do? Client has to send another request with the actual token. For this, now here, token will be verified. If token is valid, then only client will get the response. Otherwise, client will not get the response. First, client will send a request for the JWT token with the credentials. If the credentials are valid, client will get the token. If a token is valid, then client should send the request along with the token. If the token is valid, then only response will come. Now let us see here. Client is sending a request, post request with the authenticate. In the body, credentials he is sending. Click on send. I got the token. Once I got the token, let us take this token. Let us go for get request. Let us go for hello. First, let me send the request without any token. When I send a request, what happened? Access denied. Am I able to access a hello method? Guys, am I able to access hello method or I am not able to access hello method? I'm not able to access hello method. Why I am not able to access hello method? Hello method is secured with the JWT. Hello method is secured with the JWT. Now client should send the token in the request. Now go to auth. What is the token? It is a bearer token. Bearer token is available. Let us give that bearer token. I'm giving the token in the request as a bearer token and I click on send. Now I got the response as hello world. You understand how JWT token is going to work? Guys, are you able to understand how JWT token is going to work now? Observe this diagram carefully. So I'm a client. There is a REST API. That REST API method is secured with the JWT. REST API method is secured with the JWT. When any REST API which is secured with the JWT, they will give client credentials and we need to send a request with the credentials for authentication purpose. First, we need to prove that we are valid client. So when we send a request with the credentials, then the credentials will be verified. If the given credentials are valid, then REST API will generate a token. REST API will send the token to the client. That token will have some expiry date. Some time they will give expiry for 1 minute. Within 1 minute, that token will expire. So you need to use the token within 1 minute of time. So once you receive the token, you send the actual request with the token. If your token is valid, then only your request will be processed. If a token is not valid, your request will not be processed. If a token is valid, your request will be processed. If token is not valid, your request will not be processed. So click on send. Now see here, if I am not sending the token for the hello endpoint, am I able to access that? No, I'm getting 403 forbidden. I'm not able to access. If I set the token as a bearer token, if I pass the token, click on send. If I send the token, then only I'm getting the response. Suppose if I give some incorrect token, send the request. Now 403 forbidden, that token is not valid. I'm not able to access that. If I give valid token, then only I can access that. Otherwise, I cannot access that. Are you guys able to understand? Are you guys able to understand what is a JWT and how this JWT is working? Yes, look at the diagram. JWT. JWT stands for JSON Web Tokens. JSON Web Tokens are open, industry standard for representing claims securely between two parties. So now JWT official website will be available here. You can go to this JWT website and you can visit. Learn more about JWT debugger. Now see here guys, whenever you are using JWT, first we need to understand the structure of the JWT. JWT token contains 3 parts guys. So a token will be available like this. This token, if you observe clearly, in this token, 3 parts will be available. This is part 1. After that one dot is available. Then this is part 2. After that one dot is available. And this is part 3. Part 1 is available. Part 2 is available. Part 3 is available. So that means total 3 parts will be available in JWT token. What are those 3 parts? First part is called header part. Second part is called as payload part. Third part is called as signature part. So this JWT token will contain 3 parts. All the 3 parts will be separated by using dot. Dot symbol. Are you guys clear with my point? JWT stands for JSON Web Token. JWT stands for JSON Web Token that is used to implement security between two applications. So if you want to provide access for your application with a secured approach, then JSON tokens or JSON Web Tokens is one of the best mechanism. So client will send a request with the credentials. If a client credentials are valid, token will be generated, token will be sent to the client. Then client should send the request with the token. If the token is valid, then only client request will be processed. Otherwise, client request will not be processed. The demo I'm showing here, post request method with / authenticate. In the body, I'm sending the username and password. Suppose if I don't send the correct username and click on send, what happened? No, I'm not able to access that. I need to send the correct credential. If I send the correct credentials, then only we are going to get the token. Okay, so let me know authenticate method, click on send. I got the token. This is my JSON token. This is JSON token contain 3 parts, header part, payload part, and signature part will be available. Now let us take this token. Now let us go for get request method. So in the get request method, let us go for get request method. So get request method, we are going to send along with the token. Okay, let me go for this postman. Got closed. Second. Yeah, go for get request method. When I want to make a get request, I want to, first of all, let me go for post request method, authenticate, username and password, no authentication for this, click on send. I got the JWT token. Let us take this token. Now go to get request method, authentication, bearer token, give the token, hello, click on send. When I give the token for the request, then I'm able to access that response. Suppose if I don't send the token, now I'm not able to access that. Guys, concept wise, are you clear? What is JWT and how JWT will work in the real time? Concept wise, are you clear? Concept wise, are you clear? What is JWT and how JWT will work in the real time? Concept wise, are you clear? What is JWT and how JWT will work in the real time? Yes. Okay. So JSON token will be look like this. You see, in the official website of JWT, I'm able to see that. So here, one part, here another part, and here third part. First part is header part. What is the algorithm? What is the type of the token? Payload part contain subject, name, and some ID will be available. Signature part, so that header, payload, and signature will be encoded like this. So you can create a token and you can decode the token. So whatever the token I have created, let me get that token. Let me get that token and let me show you that. So this is my token. Let us take this token, go to this website, remove this token, paste our token. So when I paste our token also contains 3 parts. Header part will be available, payload part will be available, signature part will be available. My header part algorithm, I'm using 256 SHA algorithm for generating the token. In the payload, subject username I'm keeping as admin, expiry time and IIT I'm keeping there, signature. So that is base 64 SHA 256 algorithm based, base 64 URL encoder header plus dot plus payload plus your secret. Whatever the secret that we are sending, that will be available as a signature. So that secret will not be displayed here. That is my secret text I kept in the token. So with these 3 combination, a JSON token got generated. The JSON token I'm giving to the client. When a client send the request along with the token, then only his request will be processed. Otherwise, his request will not be processed. So in order to do this process, lot of code we need to write, guys. Lot of code we need to write in order to work with JWT. It is not that much easy and we cannot butify that. Okay, let us see what is the code that I have written for working with JWT. First of all, I am having one request class and one response class. This request class is used to take the username and password. Client is sending credentials. Client is sending credentials for the authentication purpose. So in the request body, if you see the post request, in the request body, username and password is coming. So to map that data, I'm taking authentication request class with the username and password. Then similarly, authentication response is available. This class contains only one field called JWT that is used to send response to the client. Authentication request to take this request data. Authentication response to send this response data. Two binding classes I have taken. Then after, the most important thing is here, I want to implement security. So yesterday we implemented JWT security, but today I want to go for my user detail service. Spring provided predefined user detail service. I want to load the username by using this admin and admin@123. So I'm creating one user by using user detail service. Any request which comes with authentication with this username and password, then only I will generate the token. Otherwise, I will not generate the token. For that, I have created one user details service class. Then I am going for security configuration. I'm using enable web security. So web security configuration we are doing. Then here I'm configuring my authentication manager builder. Yesterday we used JWT authentication manager. Here I'm using my user details service. Then password encoder, no password encoder. I'm not encoding my password. Directly I'm configuring my password. Then authentication manager I'm setting for that. Then I'm configuring this. HTTP security and matches with authenticate permit. Any other request, authenticate that. Okay. I'm passing that to JSON request filter with username and password filter. Any request which comes with authenticate, only that request will be processed. Remaining requests will not be processed. Okay. In my REST controller, two methods are available. One method is available with /hello and another method available /authenticate. This method anybody can access to get the token. This method will be accessible only when token is available. So that configuration I'm doing in my security config class. So here I'm writing that configuration. Any request comes with the /authenticate, that request should be allowed. Remaining request should not be allowed because I'm using JWT for that. So where is that JWT logic? The JWT logic is available in one class called JWT utils class is available. I've created one class called JWT util class. In this class, lot of code is available, which is used to generate the token and which is used to set what is the subject and when the token is created, what is the expiration of the token, what is the signature algorithm you want to use for that. All the logic is available in JWT util class. This class contains the logic to generate the token. So here there is a method called create token method is available. So to create the token, I'm setting the claims, I'm setting the subject, date when we are giving the token, and when the token will expire, and what is the signature we are using for the token, and validating the token. Here I'm creating the token for user. Here I'm validating the token. Right. That logic is available in the JWT util class. Now one more class we created, that is request filter. Whenever request comes to our application, so here my filter is going to execute. That filter is going to verify that the JWT token is valid or not. JWT token is valid or not. So here in my application, first authenticate request will come with the credentials. This request anybody can send, anybody can access. If your credentials are valid, then token will be created, token will be given to you. When you send this request, other than authenticate URL pattern, then that request will go to my filter. JWT request filter I created once for request filter. For every request, one time this filter is going to execute. This filter, what it is going to do? It is going to take the bearer token which is coming in the request. It will verify the token is valid or not, validate the token. So it is going to validate the token is valid or not. If the token is valid, then only your request will be processed. Otherwise, your request will not be processed. So that logic is available here. /authenticate method. Whenever authentication request comes with the credential, it is going to authenticate with the authentication manager. If it is authenticated successfully, then it is going to generate the token. It will send the token in the response. Authenticate method will verify user credentials are valid or not. If user credentials are valid, it will generate the token. It will send the token to the user. When the next time second request comes to the hello method, it will go to the filter. In the filter, the logic is available to take the token and verify the token. If the token is valid, then only process. Otherwise, don't process that request. So this is the logic we have implemented. Now, one request filter is available. Filter will be executed for every request. One request binding class is available. One response binding class is available. One REST controller is available. This REST controller contains two methods. One method is business method. Another method is authenticate method. Business method will be accessible if you have a valid token. This method will be accessible by everybody. It is used to generate the token. And we have user detail service. So when the authentication should be successful, if any request comes with these credentials, then only that authentication will be successful. Security configuration, for which method security is required, for which method security not required, we configured in the security class. JWT util.java is available. JWT util.java contains the actual logic to generate the token. So these are the classes that we are writing. In the properties file, no configuration is available. In the properties file, no configuration is available. So this project is little tricky as well as little challenging also, guys. Generating the token, validating the token is not that much easy. JWT util.java, it contains the logic to generate the token. So web security config, customizing the security configuration. User details, which user is valid user, we are configuring. Request filter, it is used to validate the token. So once request filter is available, then actual REST controller. One method to access business request, another method to verify the credentials and give the token. So like this, we are able to implement JWT token. So execution we have seen, when you send a post request with the credentials in the body, if credentials are valid, then token will come. If application is running, if you send the valid credentials means how it will verify? The credentials I have already configured in my user details service. Credentials I configured in the user details service. If credentials are valid, then only we will get the token. I got the token as a response. Next time when you are sending the request, you need to send the token in the request. If a token is available in the request, then only that request will be processed. That logic is available in the filter to verify if your token is valid or not. If your token is valid, then only process. Otherwise, it will not process your request. That is JWT token concept. Guys, theoretically, are you able to understand what is JWT and how it is working? JWT, are you able to understand what is JWT and how it is working? Now, dependencies. What are the dependencies that we are adding in the form.xml file to work with JWT token? Security starter, web starter, DevTools, Lombok. And here we are adding JWT related dependency and the Jaxby API dependency.
Sorry to disturb you. Need more clarification, please, on this because.
No, sir. Today's class is not to understand the code. Today's class is to understand the concept. Coding, we will do it tomorrow.
Okay, nice. Please go ahead.
Yeah, right. So now, what are the dependencies we are adding? How to write that code? That we will do it step by step. In the tomorrow session, we are going to do that coding step by step. Today, I don't want you to understand the code. Today, because JWT is not that much easy to understand in the one class. So first, we need to understand theoretically how this concept is working. First of all, what is JWT? How projects are using JWT? So now we will develop this project on our own, how to generate the token and how to validate that token. What dependencies we need to add, how to write that code, that we will do it. Okay. Come on, guys. Any questions as of now? Anyone? Anybody having any questions as of now?
Sir, yes, sir. For each request, will it be a new token will be generated, sir? For each client.
For each client, a new token will be generated. Yes.
Okay, so it's a unique.
For each client, a new token will be generated. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
तो भाई साहब ना जाओ
Any questions, anyone?
Sir, what is the use of this header and signature separately in the token?
Sir, header will contain what type of token you are using. That will be a JWT token. Payload will contains that when the token got generated, who generated that token, when the token is going to expire, that will be available in the payload. Signature means you will keep some secret text as part of the signature. So that is the standard that we need to follow.
Sir, for each, suppose 5 clients got unique token. So after some period of time, it expires. So where the Spring Boot or security stores all the tokens for checking the that validity.
Right here, whenever we generate the token, so here in the token, we are giving some information, right? As part of the token, our payload information will be available and our signature will be available. Okay. So now, whenever the request comes back, in the request filter, we will write that logic. Tomorrow we'll understand how to write that logic. Here, there is a concept called validate token method. So what we will do in the validate token is that token contains the actual username which we have given. Is the token contains the date which is before expiration date or after the expiration date. We are going to verify. In this application, I'm not storing the token anywhere. I'm going to check in the token itself, expiry time will be available when the token is going to expire. So is the token expired? There is a method. What is the current date now and what is the expiration date? If expiration date is before the current date, that means it is expired.
Right.
Got it?
Right.
The token itself. So when you decode the token, in the token itself, we will contain the expiry date, right? So what is our current date, current time, and what is the expiration time? If expiration time is before the current time, that means the token got expired. We don't want to process that. So that logic will be available in the validated token method.
Right.
Yeah, this logic is a little complex logic, guys.
So much.
Tell me what.
I'm waiting for this only for last 50 days.
Okay. This is complex logic, guys. This is complex.
Sir,
In one day,
even
we can't understand this.
Yeah, even for JWT, even for OAuth also, the token expiry also there, sir, from server side, like how you are written.
Yeah,
OAuth
they can
also.
do that. Yeah, they can do that. They can set the time for that.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah, this is the first class of JWT.
Yeah, this is first class on JWT. This is introduction class on JWT.
Okay, thank you.
Coding we have not done today. Just I want to show you the demo, how JWT is working.
Okay. Actually, I'm not attending for a few days. That's why I'm asking. This is the first class, right?
Okay, today is the first class for that.
Okay, thank you.
Is it possible also to mix up that session with this AWP also at a later stage once it's implemented? If possible, 5-10 minutes.
We'll see that, sir. Session, what session you're talking, we'll see that. First, we'll complete this coding part.
After completing this, please do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, theoretically, anybody have any questions on JWT and how it is working?
Hi, sir.
Yeah, sir.
If we generate auto token, we will get response. But
yes,
we will get auto token.
Your voice is breaking, sir. Your voice is breaking.
In my project, auto token is generated and no response.
Your voice is breaking, sir. I can't hear you clearly what you are talking. Shiva, your voice is breaking. I can't hear you. Can you speak loudly and once again?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, in security, sir, they have so many classes available, just like the web security config adapter, and in that class, they have so many methods. what is the use of all these things, web security config adapter class?
Yes, sir. Whenever you want to override the default settings provided by the Spring Security, then we are going to extend from Web Security Configurer Adapter class. In that, there are several methods available. Authentication Manager bean method, configure method. We are overriding those methods available in that class. This is used for customization.
Only for customization?
Correct.
Okay, sir. And yesterday, sir, we creating, sir, encrypted, bicrypted, that things.
Yeah.
All these things is available in the web security config adapter. They have
Correct.
the in the classes. Okay.
Yes, it is in the Spring Security. All these things are available.
Which one, sir, is better in real-time project?
Customization definitely we will do. We don't go with the default security provided by the Spring, right? On top of the Spring Security, we are going to customize that according to our requirement.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Fine.
second, sir, second time I have a general question. In pom.xml, they have, sir, plugins tags is available. What is the use of this plugin, sir? I have no idea about all these things.
So these are the Maven plugins, sir. Whenever you execute a Maven goal, those plugins are going to execute. So Lombok will be excluded here. Boot Maven plugin will be available. That means you can directly run the boot application with the Maven goal. If you want to convert your XML data to Java, Java to XML, JAXB plugins will be available. So those are some ready-made plugins will be there. Code coverage Jacoco plugin will be available. So those plugins that you want to use in the project, we can configure. Those are basically Maven plugins, not related to Spring Boot.
Okay, in case the plugin is removed from the pom.xml, after that there
That
is a
functionality will not work. Whatever the plugin you are adding, that functionality will not work.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Fine, guys. So
Hello.
tomorrow we will do the implementation
Hello.
for JWT token. Yeah.
Hello.
Sir, please upload
Yes, sir.
all the diagrams in Git repository. Sir.
Sure, sir. I will push to Git repository. I will share the link. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Small request, sir.
Huh.
Yesterday we lost our class, sir, because power issue in our area, sir. That's why can you provide yesterday class, sir?
Yeah, send you a mail to admin team, sir. They will check that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Fine, guys. Thank you. With this, I'm stopping now. We'll continue in the tomorrow session. Tomorrow, we'll try to develop the project for JW. Thank you, guys.